They thought she was nothing, pregnant, abandoned, divorced without mercy. Her husband left her to marry his mistress the moment her father died. What no one knew was this: her father wasn't poor, powerless, or ordinary. He was a secret trillionaire, and the woman they broke was about to rise in silence. This is not a story of revenge. This is a story of legacy. No one truly noticed Lena at her father's funeral. She stood near the back of the hall, dressed in plain black, one hand gently resting on her pregnant belly. The room was filled with distant relatives, business acquaintances, and people who spoke softly about her father, as if he were just another retired investor. To the world, he had lived quietly, driven an old car, avoided luxury, and never appeared in the news. To Lena, he was simply a loving father who believed in humility and silence. He used to tell her that loud wealth attracts danger, and real power survives by staying invisible. Lena believed him, but she never imagined how deep that truth ran. Her childhood had been simple: no servants, no expensive gifts, no signs of greatness. Her father wanted her to grow strong without knowing she was protected by an empire. When Lena married Adrian, she carried that simplicity into her marriage. Adrian was charming, ambitious, and full of dreams. At first, he admired Lena's calm nature. He liked how she trusted easily and asked for little. But as time passed, his admiration turned into frustration. He wanted status, he wanted attention, he wanted a life that looked powerful. Lena's quiet ways began to irritate him. When she became pregnant, Adrian felt the weight of responsibility instead of joy. Around that time, Vanessa entered his life. She was confident, glamorous, and obsessed with luxury. She spoke about influence, connections, and money as if they were everything. Adrian felt alive around her in a way he no longer felt at home. When Lena's father suddenly passed away, Adrian saw only loss, no inheritance, no visible wealth, just a quiet death. A few weeks later, without hesitation, he handed Lena divorce papers. She was 7 months pregnant. His voice was cold when he said she had nothing to offer him anymore. Within weeks, he married Vanessa. Lena left the marriage with nothing but her unborn child and a heart shattered by betrayal, unaware that the silence surrounding her father's life was about to break forever. Life after the divorce pushed Lena to the edge. She moved into a small apartment with thin walls and cold floors. Every step was heavy with pregnancy, exhaustion, and grief. She worked whenever she could, saving every coin, telling herself that her child would never feel unwanted. Nights were the hardest. She lay awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering how love could disappear so easily. Adrian never called, never asked about the baby. Vanessa, on the other hand, made sure Lena saw everything. Photos of luxury dinners, expensive cars, and smiling captions filled social media. Lena avoided looking, but the pain still reached her. When labor came, it came suddenly. Lena went to the hospital alone. No husband, no parents, no family, just a nurse who held her hand while she cried silently. When her daughter was born, Lena felt something shift inside her. She named her Mira, meaning hope, because that was all she had left. Holding her baby, Lena promised that no matter how broken she felt, she would stand strong for her child. Days later, there was a knock at her door. A tall man in a dark suit introduced himself as Mr. Hale. He said he had been her father's legal guardian for many years. Lena thought it was a mistake. Her father had no such connections, she believed. But when he opened his briefcase and showed her documents, her hands began to shake. Trusts, corporations, bank accounts across the world. Her father had controlled a fortune beyond imagination. He had hidden everything behind layers of silence to protect her. He had foreseen betrayal. He had prepared for this moment. Lena fainted. When she woke up, she cried harder than she had at the funeral. Her father was gone, but even in death he had protected her and her child. The bottom of her life had cracked open, revealing power she never knew she carried. Lena did not rush into wealth. She did not move into mansions or surround herself with luxury. Instead, she listened. She learned. Her father's trusted team guided her step by step. For months, she studied finance, leadership, and global markets while caring for her newborn daughter. Every lesson felt like a message from her father, reminding her why silence mattered. She learned how power could destroy or protect, depending on the hands that held it. Lena chose patience. Meanwhile, Adrian's life began to crumble. His marriage to Vanessa was built on desire and status, not trust. Her spending was reckless. His businesses began to suffer. Investors lost confidence. Doors closed quietly, one by one. Desperate, Adrian searched for opportunity and received an invitation to a private investment summit. The host was anonymous but powerful. Hoping to save himself, Adrian attended. The room was filled with people whose names moved markets. Then Lena walked in. She looked calm, confident, not dressed in excess, but with an authority that demanded attention. Adrian felt his chest tighten. He recognized her immediately, but she looked like someone he had never truly known. When Lena spoke, the room listened. She revealed her position as the controlling force behind massive global funds. Adrian's world collapsed in silence. He finally understood the truth. The woman he abandoned carried not only his child, but a hidden empire. Vanessa sensed the shift immediately. Fear replaced ambition. That night, she left Adrian without a word. Lena did not look back. She did not celebrate. She simply continued forward, honoring her father's belief that true power does not announce itself. It moves quietly, changing everything. Adrian eventually came back. His pride was broken. His voice trembled as he apologized. He said he had made a mistake. He asked for forgiveness and wanted to be part of his daughter's life. Lena listened without anger. She had learned that emotions could not guide power. She spoke calmly and clearly. She told him that choices reveal character, and character shapes destiny. She allowed him limited access to his child, not out of love for him, but out of responsibility to Mira. Lena wanted her daughter to know the truth without absorbing bitterness. Lena turned her wealth into purpose. She funded schools in forgotten communities, hospitals in places where hope was rare, and shelters for women who had been abandoned like she once was. She invested in businesses led by women who had been underestimated. She created a foundation in her father's name, honoring his quiet wisdom and unseen strength. The world began to notice her, not as someone who inherited wealth, but as someone who transformed it. Adrian watched from a distance as Lena became respected, untouchable, and admired. He realized too late that he had mistaken silence for weakness. Lena never humiliated him. She never sought revenge. Her success was her answer. Her dignity was her shield. In rising, she did not crush others. She built something that would last longer than money. She built meaning. Years passed. Lena stood beside her daughter, watching the sunrise over a city shaped by her decisions. Mira laughed freely, unaware of the pain that once surrounded her birth. Lena felt peace settle in her heart. She had lost her father, lost her marriage, and lost the life she thought she would have. But from that loss she gained something greater. She gained clarity. She learned that strength does not scream, it stands. Her story spread quietly, inspiring those who felt unseen and discarded. Lena never spoke about betrayal unless asked. She focused on building a future rooted in values, not vengeance. Her father's lessons lived on through her actions. Mira grew up watching her mother lead with calm authority and compassion. The world changed around them, shaped by choices made in silence. Lena became a living legend not because of wealth, but because she turned suffering into legacy. Some stories are loud and fade quickly. Others move quietly and last forever. This was one of those stories.